going on, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, we back again for another one. This is Let's Talk About It with Los. I'm Los. I'm Los. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all checking me out again for another week. Showing love. Continue to like, share, and subscribe, comment. All the good things. Um, and it is much appreciated. But man, it is hot outside though. Yeah, and like like with me, uh, I'm always cold now for some reason. Even I'm like, man, this is too hot outside, man. It's too hot outside. Excuse me. But also too, I be wearing uh a bunch of sweaters all the time, so that could have something to do with it. But man, uh I was watching the new Spider-Man movie. Man, it was uh it was awesome. It was an awesome movie. One of the best uh you know Marvel movies that they put out in a while. Um and Tom Holland is probably the best Spider-Man we have now. You know, uh, he's been doing an awesome job as Spider-Man. But the reason why I brought Spider-Man up is because it made me think about something about uh, a part of the movie where um, he was changing. He was growing, and he too much. One, he didn't understand what was going on, and then uh, for two, he really didn't uh, too much care for the change that he was dealing with or that he was going through. You know, um, and it made me think about how you know change, how us as people we don't like change. We always fight against it. Um, it's difficult for some people. Some people, excuse me, some people, you know, can deal with it more easily than others, obviously. But um, for a lot of people, change is difficult. It's very difficult um, to really deal with and to accept. You know, because when you think about our bodies, we are uh, designed to. Um, I guess I don't want to say uh, be addicted, but it's kind of like that because you think about anything like food or drink or anything like that, or man, I don't know what it is, man. I'll be fine, and then as soon as I start talking, I start yawning out of nowhere. But um, even with food and things that you drink and stuff like that, even um, um, with a lot of things as far as the human body is concerned, our bodies tend to, uh, especially if you like it, tend to I want to say fiend for it. It kind of gives us. It's like we um, have this thing to uh, be addicted, you know. Um, and so it makes us, you know, not really want to deal with or like change, you know. And I mean, change is good. Growth is good. Um, but like I said, you get comfortable in what you've been dealing with. You know, you get comfortable in it. You know, you don't really want to step out of what you uh, what you've been dealing with or what you've been doing. And growth requires that. It requires you to step out of certain things um, that you are comfortable with, you know. And a lot of times we tend to fight against it. You know, we tend to fight against these things that um, that could be possibly making us a better person. You know, um, and a lot of times we always uh, you know, pray and talk about how we want to change and how we do want to grow. But when that growth comes, we fight against it. And uh, a lot of times it's not really what you wanted. You know, you say, you know, you just talking. Really, you say you want to do this, but when it's time for it to happen, um, you fight against it because sometimes even when that growth or that change comes, we see it one way or we want it to come one way. You know, we may want it to come easily. You know, we pick and choose like, nah, all right, if I'm gonna grow or if I'm gonna change, then I'm gonna do it this way. And a lot of times growth and change don't come how we want it. You know, because a lot of times the way that we see it or the way that we want it is not actually going to help us grow. You know, and the the way that God brings this change or you know this growth, um, it is always to make us better. You know, and it may not look like how you want it to look. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, they always say, you know, hindsight is 20/20 because you're able to look back and see perfectly. You know, you. I don't remember what my eyesight is now, but it ain't good at all. But you know, when you going through, you know, change and growth, you know, you see it how my eyes are. You know, if I take these glasses off, I won't even be able to read this clock that I'm looking at. You know, uh, that's how bad my eyes are, and that's how we see uh, when we going through something. That's how we see it. You know, uh, but like I said, when they say hindsight is 20/20, once you get through it and you look back, you can see it perfectly. You know, you can see how everything that you've dealt with, everything that you've been dealing with, actually work out for your good. It works out for the best of you. You know, and it's tough to not. You know, sometimes it's tough not to fight against. Um, Not to fight against what comes to make you better. You know, it's tough to not fight against it. Um, it's tough not to fight against it, you know. But um you have to stick with it, you have to really go through what has come for you to grow, because if you are able to really go around or circumvent every time it's time to grow or change, what did you really learn, in that? Did you really learn anything? Did or you just here to say, oh, I've changed, I've changed. That's even speaking of changing, right? That's one of the kind of the issues that I have with a lot of people. Dang, I was joking when I said I won't be able to read the read that TV back there. I can't see it. I definitely can't see it. Oh man, I was joking, but I can't see it for real. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one of the things that bothers me so much. Uh, in the church, when we're talking about church, right? About how a lot of people, they want to hold on to their old self and the old things that they used to do, but still try to say that they follow God or love God, and they forget that your fruits will show. You know, your fruits will show. Obviously you can't judge a person's heart and how their relationship is with Christ, but whatever's in your heart will come out. Whatever's in your heart will come out. So if you constantly still showing your old self at the same time saying that you are a follower of Christ, it's hard for your brothers and sisters in Christ to believe that, because that's not how following Christ works. You're required to kill that old self, and be more like Jesus. You know, a lot of times, especially when you have uh, people that say, yeah, I'm Christian, but yeah, I'm Christian, but um, they're telling you that they still holding on to that old self, and like I said, a lot of people, they don't want to give it up. They don't want to give it up. That's why I said starting this, change, uh, change and growth. People fight against it, you know, and there's a lot of people that still think that they can hold on to their old self or parts of their old self and still show, still uh make people believe that they follow God, and like people always say, just sometimes, people are not reading the Bible. So a lot of times you are the Bible that people see, and they hearing these things about Christ, but when they see you or hear you, they don't see what they've been hearing, and they're like, oh, so it is okay to love God and still, I say, be ratchet. I guess uh, you know, and when you start to tell them that no, you have to get rid of that, you have to bury that, you have to have a funeral for that. Um, they tend to fight back on it. They tend to fight back on it, and then a lot of times they'll uh, weaponize scripture. You know, um, well, Jesus hung around all sinners, or oh well, David uh, cheated with Bathsheba, cheated with Bathsheba. Uh, what else? Solomon had a bunch of wives. What else? They they start, digging up all these. Peter. Peter is a big one. When people with attitudes. Yeah. I'm like Peter. Uh, yeah. I still cut your ear off. Uh, and people dig these things up to justify the way that they act and the things that they do. You know, um, but following Christ requires change. It requires growth, and a lot of people fight it. They push back against it because that's not what their heart desires. Like I said, whatever's in your heart, it'll show. It's eventually it's gonna show. You can't fake it uh, for a long, for a while. After a while, you ain't gonna be able to fake it. It's eventually gonna show itself. You know, and a lot of people, like I said, they fight against it. They don't wanna change. Uh, no matter how much they try to say, oh yeah, I wanna do this. I wanna be that, and they don't want to do it. They want to do it their way. They want to do what they have in their heart. A lot of people just it's a lot of people that just follow Christ just to try to get money or whatever because they believe that that's how you get paid. Uh, but I mean, it's it's okay to change. It's okay to grow. Yeah, I'm even talking to myself. I really on a lot of these that when I sit down to talk, I'm really talking to myself. I'm I'm telling y'all, I'm telling y'all what God has been talking to me about. And and can I sit here and say that I've been pushing back and fighting back because I don't want to don't want to change. Because I'm uh, thinking that the change is going to come a different way, but it's not. You know, uh, the way that it had the changes come. That's how I'm going to grow. That's how I'm going to get better. And I can't continue to push against it, or fight it. And a lot of y'all, that's what y'all are doing. Y'all pushing against and fighting against change. Um, and sometimes, and at one point, you're just gonna have to accept it. You're gonna have to accept who you are, accept who been called to be. Um, even when I look at myself, I have to accept my calling. I have to accept who I'm called to be. You know, um, and a lot of times people don't want to accept it. They don't want to face it. And sometimes things are not gonna go the way you think, or go the way you want, unless you accept that growth, unless you accept that change. Then it'll go the way it's supposed to. But you have to be able to accept the change, accept the growth. And like I said, when I was watching Spider-Man, and he didn't want to accept, or he didn't want to accept the growth or the change. A lot of things were happening to him. A lot of things was happening to him, and things weren't going the way that he planned. But when he finally accepted who he is, and finally accepted and embraced the growth and embraced the change, everything came together and worked how it's supposed to, and that's how we got to be in our lives. We have once we figure out we have to accept the growth, accept the change. Things will work out how it's supposed to. Everything will come together and work and gel how it's supposed to. So embrace the change, embrace the growth, accept it. Accept who you are called to be. Accept what you are called to do, and accept the people that you are called to. And things will work and gel how it's supposed to. But that's what I want to come in, and talk to y'all about today. Is embrace the growth, embrace the change, and it's going to work out how it's supposed to. But go see Spider-Man, though. It's an awesome movie. It's awesome, man. It's an awesome movie. I got another movie I need to watch. Maybe that movie give me an idea to talk about something on here too. So, but I try to watch movies, man. I love watching movies, the art of movies, man, and how they do it, and especially I love going to the movie theater. It's awesome to sit in that theater, man, and look at that screen and watch that stuff, man. So yeah, but go see it, man. It's a good movie. But man, I appreciate y'all again. This has been another episode, man. So we'll be back again next week. Hopefully, y'all, found something that y'all can hold on to that can help you. Anything I said, but this is Let's Talk About It with Los. I'm Los, and I'm out this thing, man.